You're blind. You're trying to escape from here, aren't you? I want to see how far you can make it before your head is chopped off. Good luck not getting killed.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Greg, come on man, let's split a ride home.
If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in 1 day, guaranteed, and Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
Have you joined the fastest growing fantasy motorsports app yet? On Grid Rival, you can join leagues with your friends and manage your own fantasy team on what race fans are calling, hands down, the best fantasy motorsport app out there. F1 and MotoGP leagues are now live for the 2021 season. Joining a league on Grid Rival will make every race more exciting, more engaging, and of course, more competitive. Download Grid Rival now on your iPhone or Android smartphone. Grid Rival is an unofficial application and not associated with Formula One, MotoGP, or any of their athletes.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that McConey Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flag Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at McConey Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, McConey Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to McConeySetupShop.com and learn why McConey Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at McConey Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Yo, Scott.
Hey.
I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, you know what? I was just in there. The line is like 10 people long.
You know, I think I'll just...
Dude, are you okay?
You wouldn't believe what I was just thinking. I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this, and I will take that ride home.
Smart man.
Did you see how that dog was looking at me?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Round 6 of Season 2 of the Dallara X-Treme series, presented by Baldwin Agriland. Tonight, we are live up from the mountains up in North Carolina for the Blue Ridge Throwback at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Tonight, the drivers of the Dallara X-Treme series will take on one of the most historic tracks on the schedule. The Classic NASCAR track will hold open-wheel cars for the first time for 45 laps in the feature race. Now, as qualifying is about to start, let's bring in my partner, Connor. So, Connor, after James Curtis' big win last week in the Indy 150, do you think he's going to be able to go back-to-back tonight?
I really think so, but he's going to have to get in front of Derek Love on the start of the race. He's going to have to qualify in the top two to advance directly to the feature so he can be on the front row, and he has to get by him on the first lap. If he doesn't do that, I think it's going to be really hard to pass, especially with the progressive banking here at North Wilkesboro. So I think if he's going to win, he really needs to get by on that first lap.
Yeah, these short tracks have proven hard to pass all year. They're very difficult, very tight, and very fast in these cars. I mean, these are the only cars to be nearing 200 miles an hour at this track. And they're using the entirety of this track trying to get around to make those kind of lap times. So I don't think anyone's really going to be able to get a huge move on someone unless the car in front makes a mistake.
Yeah, the only place I see a move being able to be made is through turns 1 and 2, because you have that really low line where the pit exit is, and then you have that kind of middle line that has a little bit more banking, and you can go a little bit faster and carry a little bit more speed through that turn. So I think if any move is going to be made, it's going to be one car in that bottom line and a second car in that top line.
So one interesting thing to note about this speedway is that it's actually built on a hill. Going down the front straightaway, I believe you were going downhill, and then coming down the backstretch, you were going uphill. So the way this affects the car is really neat, because going downhill, it's going to be a lot harder to brake and get that car to slow down going into turn 1. You're going to be carrying a lot more speed. And then going uphill, it's a struggle trying to get back on the power. Tires want to spin. It's going slower up the hill, but you can get on the brakes, get the car slowed down easier. So how the drivers adapt to this, and if any of them actually realize it in these high-powered cars, is going to be one crazy thing to watch tonight.
I think one of the main keys for success for a good time for a lap at these tracks is keeping your foot in the throttle the entire way through the turns, so that you're not spinning those rear tires and getting a lot of wiggle and looseness in the rear of the car. You got to make sure that you have at least half throttle in those tires and in that car to make sure that they don't spin. If you have any more, you could easily end up spinning it in the wall.
Yeah, these short tracks in these cars are a lot like street circuits. There's not a lot of room to make a move, not a lot of room to actually race on. There's walls on either side of you, and you have to use every inch of it. So these drivers are really going to have to be on their A game and really go in full send into all these corners, lap after lap after lap, just trying to make up any ground they can on their competitors.
Somehow we usually manage less cautions, though, than the Nashville IndyCar race, so I feel like we're doing pretty good in that category.
Oh, that's a low standard that we're trying to beat.
I think we're about to have qualifying underway here. 2 cars to watch. Derek Love, our points leader, and James Curtis, 9 points back coming into this race.
So in qualifying for these heat races, drivers have to make it 4 laps around. Their best average time of those 4 laps will be their qualifying time. If any of those laps they mess up, tag the wall, get into the grass a little bit, their entire qualifying attempt is void. So it's going to be very, very tricky to see who's actually going to come out on top in this one.
Yes, and it's very, very stressful, too, for the drivers, because you're trying to be fast, you're trying to get that high average time, but you also have absolutely zero room to make a mistake. Otherwise, you have to go through the heats. Derek Love coming around for his 3rd lap here. We should be getting a time here when he crosses the start-finish line.
Derek Love tops the charts. His average time is at 11.18. RJ Hetke trails behind with 11.44.
James Curtis coming around on his 4th and final lap.
Mackenzie Glida coming around, sitting in 3rd place right now at 11.57. James Curtis takes 2nd position with 11.26. James Watson following right behind him. His best lap was an 11.22, and his average, I believe, is just a hair slower than James Curtis. Cullen Johnson passing James Watson now, going to end up in 3rd position.
Tyler Zeigler here. I believe this is his first race running DXS. Been putting in a lot of practice. I believe the story behind him is that he has a broken arm, so his upshift paddle, I think he's using his clutch, and his downshift is his upshift paddle on his steering wheel.
That would get real confusing real quick.
Oh yeah, I don't know how he does it, but he's gotten it to work for him. Unfortunately, though, he's at the bottom of the times currently.
Bill Walker and TJ McMurray. Unfortunately, both of them have set their 4 laps. However, there must have been an incident in one of those laps. Neither of their lap times are going to count. Nick Simone now for his final lap before we get an attempt. Personal best through Sector 1 here. Personal best Sector 2. Nick Simone is going to go up to the 9th position.
So once again, at these short tracks, we see Derek Love and James Curtis 1-2 going straight to the feature. James Curtis, he might actually have the advantage starting 2nd because he's going to have that outside lane. When we had the P217 race here on Saturday night, that outside lane on those restarts, it was money. It was where you wanted to be if you were the leader, so he might actually have an advantage.
Unfortunately, I was not able to attend the Saturday night race. So
All right,
actually going to have
real
my first
quick,
experience
been a
watching
while since
these
we've done one of
high
these, you know.
Hang on. I forgot to turn off the sound. Give me a sec. Alright, now we're back. Qualifying. Still have 30 seconds left, but once again, Bill Walker and Thas McMurray probably hitting the wall, most likely, in their 2 laps.
So that looks like it'll be the conclusion of qualifying. For your rundown, it's going to be Derek Love and Cullen Johnson, just taking on the front row. And everyone else is going to be determined by the heats. Unfortunately, I cannot see the heat order until we actually get underway in the heat races. This one looks like it's going to be Cullen Johnson, Mackenzie Galida, and Nick Simone racing for those first 3 positions. Looks like, I believe, on the inside line.
Yep, if qualifying's anything to go off of, should be a fairly easy race for Cullen Johnston. Just a little extra practice here on the track in his race setup. Just waiting on Nick Simone to grid. There he is. A good look at that Team Watson color car as Cullen Johnston, as a member of Team Watson Racing, is being told to run.
So it's going to be one more time around this fantastic racetrack for the pace car. It's going to pull in next time it approaches turn number 4, and they're going to be off.
So it's kind of funny. We had a race on this schedule, the Texas Motor Speedway race, when we raced there. Texas Motor Speedway replaced the North Wilkesboro Speedway on the NASCAR schedule back in, I believe, the 90s.
Oh, well, let's go. Pace car is in, and racing is getting ready to get underway here tonight, North Wilkesboro Speedway. Cullen Johnston with a huge jump on the field. He is going to easily take the lead. Matt Galida and Nick Simone are going to have to fight it out in the back of the pack.
Yep, 15 laps here.
Looks like Nick Simone is going to get the advantage over Matt Galida. They're just going to be cruising around, pulling laps along. Cullen Johnston, I believe, is easily going to get this win, unless he's trying something different here, seeing just how hard he can push those tires. He knows he's going to make it to that feature race. Maybe he just wants to see exactly how fast he can go, and it doesn't really matter if he wrecks it.
Well, Cullen Johnston is on the medium tires to start here. So, bold strategy. We've seen in these past races this season. Oh, as Mackenzie Galida gets into the wall hard. We've seen in these past races how the mediums wear off right at that 10 lap mark. So, it's really a bold strategy to decide to run those mediums in the heat race.
He's turning over half a second a lap faster than Nick Simone right now. So I believe even if they start falling off, it's not going to be the end of the world for him. He'll have plenty of gap to maintain over Nick Simone.
Yep, currently a 3.5 second lap, or gap. Sorry.
Halfway through this first heat. Still, Cullen Johnston is going to be your leader, almost building up 4 seconds now over Nick Simone. Mackenzie Galida is in the pits repairing that damage from the incident with the wall.
In his pit box for a long time. Believe they do have a fast repair. Not sure why it's not being used.
Maybe he just figured it'd be easier to park it. Nothing really to fight for here. Gap is over 5 seconds now. We are at that lap 10 mark when you said those medium tires would start to wear. So let's see if Nick Simone can start closing that gap now. Nick Simone's last lap was his personal best at 11.99 in the race. Cullen Johnston running 11.86, so still marginally faster than Nick Simone.
Yep, but Cullen Johnston's fastest lap was an 11.5 and 3/10 on that last lap. Oh, and now a 12.2. Yeah, those tires have definitely fallen off right at that lap 12 mark.
Still plenty of time, though. I don't think Nick Simone has a chance of catching Cullen unless something happens to Cullen. Car gets snappy loose and ends up into that outside wall.
Yeah, I think he's going to be good, but he will definitely be telling his teammates how long those tires can last, and that'll be 12 laps. So if we get a late
white
caution...
flag is out in the final heat of the night, or first heat of the night, excuse me. Cullen Johnston is going to come around and take the checkered flag.
Yep, pretty easy.
Followed by
win
Nick
there.
Simone and Matt Galida.
I think Mackenzie Galida got a speeding penalty entering pit road there.
For heat race number 2 tonight, we see James Watson starting on the pole position. To his outside, we see Elijah Travis, and right behind him is going to be TJ McMurray. That looks like a Super Mario scheme there for James Watson tonight.
It is. I like it.
Not sure what that's about. Usually he's running all his fancy team colors, but I dig the Mario scheme. I mean, maybe he finds a power-up, little golden star on the track, and maybe he can start throwing red shells at the opponents behind him tonight.
James Watson starting on the hard tires. Elijah Travis and Thaddeus McMurray starting on the mediums. So James will definitely be at a disadvantage, especially on the start, being on the bottom and on the harder compound. Be interesting to see if Elijah and TJ can try and build a gap to James Watson on those medium tires. It is an open setup series, however, so James Watson could just have a much faster setup and feel comfortable starting on the hards.
As we saw in the last race, if James is able to just even hang with them, once that lap 12, lap 13 comes around, he should be able to easily pass him as long as that gap does not get too big. James Watson getting a good jump off the start. Looks like he's going to be followed closely by Elijah Travis and TJ McMurray. We still have a close fight in this one as we approach the end of the first lap. TJ McMurray almost getting at the outside wall out of 4, manages to keep that car under control, keep it on the racing surface, and he keeps on trucking. James looking like he is going to be just a hair faster even on those hard tires, so it doesn't look like he's going to have to put up a big fight in this one. He just has to stay in front and keep Elijah Travis in his dirty air. Elijah Travis gets into the wall. That's refusing to take the pit stop, though. I wonder if there's no damage on that car. TJ McMurray, however, is going to need to take the pit stop.
Yeah, he definitely hit the wall hard coming out of turn 2, I believe, onto the backstretch. He hit the wall hard.
James Watson now setting lap times of 11.88. That is our best so far tonight under racing conditions. 11.79 now. He just keeps going faster and faster. He is pulling away from Elijah Travis, even though Elijah is on those softer tires. So it does not look like there's going to be competition in this one, because Elijah's tires are going to wear out completely by the time this heat race is over.
Cullen Johnson actually ran an 11.53 in the last heat.
My apologies. Elijah Travis now running faster lap times. Elijah Travis ran an 11.70, attempting to close the gap just a little bit.
Yep, but his tires should start wearing off here in about a lap or two. Not before he goes fastest in the heat race with an 11.66.
Lap car of TJ McMurray shaking things up just a little bit, but he does move out of the way. No harm, no foul. Nobody gets hurt.
Yep, you can really see those tires starting to fall off. 12.02 for Elijah Travis. As James Watson goes fastest in the heat race with an 11.64.
Yep, that's it. Pack it up, throw the checkered flag. I believe James Watson has this one in the bag at this point. James Watson looked like he getting a little bit loose out there, but still managing to keep it under control. I should shut my mouth. I feel like I'm opening up too soon. If something happens, he's going to come yelling at me. I gave him the commentator's curse. White flag is out now for James Watson over a 3-second gap over Elijah Travis.
It's like you were trying to curse him on purpose there.
Coming out of turn 4, James Watson will win heat number 2 of tonight.
Yep, pretty easy win for him on those hard tires. Very fast setup for the Team Watson Racing guys.
So it looks like this will be our final heat race of the night. It looks like it's going to be RJ Hedke, Tyler Zeigler, and Bill Walker.
Oh, Tyler Zeigler is running some funky car. Let's get a little bit of a closer look at that. Oh, never mind. That was my color blindness acting up.
So it does look like Bill Walker has decided to step out of this heat race. So it is just going to be RJ Hetke and Tyler Zeigler running for the win in this heat race. Now I wonder, both these drivers very aggressive, very fast. Tyler is running out there with only one arm. I'm curious to see if this race even finishes on the checkered flag or if both these guys just end up in the wall.
Very possible. It might just come down to who has the quicker tow time, honestly. Because there is despite the catch fences all the way around the track, there is a high probability, we saw it early in practice, of people just absolutely sailing it over the catch fence.
Of course, they wanted to stop at the RVs. People are making hot dogs, hamburgers out there. I mean, there's good food out here at these NASCAR races.
Probably using Baldwin Agriland beef. We have Debbie Hedke checking in the comments saying, "Go get 'em, RJ, hashtag mom and dad."
Everyone in the Hetke family watching tonight, pace car is in, green flag is out, no clear jump by either competitor, but RJ Hetke is going to take the lead in this one. Easily building a gap. Gap is up to almost 5/10 of a second now.
Both guys running the medium tires, so those tires will be wearing off right about the same time, which could make things very interesting if they're still close together at the end here. And I'm seeing that Bill Walker lagged out of the session, so hopefully he can get back in and get his Wi-Fi figured out before the start of the feature race.
Gap is now up almost to 7/10 of a second. Both these drivers running about 12-second lap times. I don't think they're giving it at all. They're just sitting in, trying to find the groove. There's nothing real to fight for, no reason to wreck your car out in the heat races.
Well, RJ Hetke is running the highest line, or at least the lap before, ran the highest line we had seen so far through 3 and 4. He was in that third groove, which is a very bold strategy considering how many marbles are up there with how much these racers have been practicing during practice, during qualifying, and also heat racing.
See, I believe he just got off the phone with Kyle Larson, and Kyle was trying to coach him up on how to run that high groove.
Most likely.
Flagman holding out 5 fingers now, just 5 laps to go in this third and final heat race of the night. Gap is now over 1 second. It looks like Tyler Zeigler got into the wall just a little bit. Seems to keep it going. He is just going to run behind RJ now. Gap is now up to almost 2 seconds. It's going to be clear and easy for RJ to go and win this one. All he has to do is keep it out of those walls, keep it from spinning, and this heat race is his.
Tyler with the best lap time so far in the heat race with an 11.71. So a bit slower than what we've been seeing from the fastest times in the other heat races.
Gap is now up to over 3 seconds. I wonder if Tyler Zeigler just used up his equipment and he's just out there running on overheated tires.
He very well might, or he could just be trying to limp his car. I think he may have hit the wall and he might have damage, so just trying to limp it back around, get to the checkered flag, and be done with the race.
White flag is out, checkered is out now. RJ Hetke is going to win your third and final heat race of the night.
Pretty easy win there for Hetke. We got, I believe, a 2 or 3 minute warm-up now for all the drivers.
this is a time when everyone gets their anger out. I mean, if someone wrecked you last week, you get here in this warm-up, you just dump them into the wall, let them know what's up, let them know you're still here and you're not going to go down without a fight. You don't have to do that. That's just typically what I do and how I've seen other drivers approach the warm-up.
Oh yeah, just maybe set yourself a goal, try and get the car over the catch fence. You know, just have a little bit of fun with it.
Yeah, this is really the driver's last chance to relax before that green flag comes out in the race session.
Ooh, James Curtis just set the fastest lap of warm-up with an 11.66. Faster than Derek Love currently. Oh, and he goes even faster with an 11.49 on his last lap before spinning out. So, very impressed from James Curtis. That might help him get past Derek Love on this first lap of the feature race. Cullen Johnston now also going faster than Derek Love. Derek Love might be under a little bit of pressure here, going slower than both James Curtis and Cullen Johnston.
Alright, as we're getting ready to line up for the feature race, Derek Love and James Curtis are going to take over your front row. Row number 2 will be headed by Cullen Johnston, followed by James Watson on the high side. Row number 3 will be RJ Hetke and Nick Simone. Row 4 will be Eliza Travis and Tyler Zeigler. Row number 5 will be Mackenzie Glida and TJ McMurray. And row number 6 will be Bill Walker on the inside line. And the field is off, 2 laps of pacing, green flag comes out, and these drivers are going to be ready to go.
Bill Walker able to get back into the session and running the medium tires for the start of this race. Very bold strategy. The only thing I can think of is that he's trying to hope for a lap 1 caution.
Yep. Lights are out in the pace car. It's going to be 1 more lap until that green flag drops. Pace car is now entering turn 3. As always here on the National Racing Network, the first lap will be yours once that green flag comes out. Pace car is in, and we are ready to go racing here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Big chaos going on further back in the field. Does not look like we're under caution yet.
Nope,
now
under
it does look like the field has started to slow down.
Huge crash between Thaddeus McMurray and Mackenzie Galida in the back of the field. Let's get you that hot shoe racewear replay.
Just looks like Mackenzie was running a little bit of an unpredictable line, running down towards the bottom, came up a little bit. TJ McMurray was there, and they just ended up making contact.
Yeah, it looks like McMurray got into the right rear of Mackenzie Galida. Let's take a look at that again on board with status for TJ McMurray.
Yep, you can see Mackenzie just move up right in front of him, and unfortunately nowhere to go in that scenario. Things just happen and come at you so fast in these cars that there's really no time to react. Fortunately, TJ able to keep going. Mackenzie, unfortunately, ended up on his lid.
Couple people coming into the pits. Tyler Zeigler and Elijah Davis making early pit stops. Bill Walker not coming into the pits, staying out on the medium tires. Very interesting. That's McMurray now, or sorry, TJ McMurray now being scored 1 lap down. Mackenzie Galida had to take the tow, and he is 4 laps down currently. So James Curtis not able to get by Derek Love on that start. He's going to have one heck of a time trying to get by him now.
Yep, passing on these restarts is going to be key. Hopefully we don't have a lot of them here tonight, but I have a feeling just with how tight this track is and how many different lines these drivers have been able to find and run, they're going to have side-by-side action through a lot of the night.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the main things to remember here on these restarts is that the leader controls it. So from the time that the pace car jumps down to pit road and the green flag, the leader can hit the loud pedal whenever he wants. So he is in full control as the lights are out on the pace car.
And what a loud pedal it is. The screaming V10s in these things just make an ear-piercingly epic noise when they get on that throttle pedal.
Honestly, one of the best sounding cars on the service.
But the lights are out in the pace car. Pace car is getting ready to pull down back into the pit lane. And we're going to see Derek Love just pull away from the start. Huge jump, almost half a second over James Curtis already. It does not look like James Curtis is going to be able to make a move here on lap number 1.
Nope, James Watson almost made a move on James Curtis. James Curtis got a very poor jump, trying to bring that gap back in now to Derek Love.
James Curtis so far with the fastest lap of the race with a 12.77. We stay clean and green for the first lap of this restart. James Curtis now right up to the gearbox of Derek Love. Now, dirty air is a big issue here, but it does not look like it's stopping James Curtis from attempting to make an overtake.
James Curtis has been very fast through turns 1 and 2. He's gotten a lot of time back on Derek Love. Looking to the inside. Ooh.
Still just trying for that dive bomb, not able to make anything work. He's going to have to start looking over there to the high side and try to get a run down this back straightaway. As he does try the crossover, they are side by side going into one. No contact made, still side by side, coming down the stripe. It looks like It's going to be James Curtis taking the lead.
Oh,
with
I think
the
there's
fastest lap
contact.
so far in the race.
I think there was contact right there between James Curtis and Derek Love. Derek looked like he got just a little bit loose. But what a
No harm, no
great...
foul. Both these drivers still continuing on. Now it's Derek Love's job to go and catch James and pass him back.
Yeah, what a great pass by Derek Love. That was perfectly set up. Now just a couple of big gaps. Closest battles between Tyler Zeigler and Elijah Davis for P7. Going back and forth.
Davis coming down to the inside line, going into turn 1. Ziggy way up there on the high side. He's going to get the run down the back straightaway, sitting there on the high side, but Elijah Travis still able to come down to the bottom, try and make something happen, unable to do anything. Car up in the wall. Who is that? That looks like Bill Walker. He's going to make contact with Tyler, and he's going to go upside down.
That is unfortunate. Bill Walker just getting into that wall and having trouble controlling it, what it looked like.
Caution is out on the speedway. Here is where things will start to get interesting. Does someone come down to the pits and try and take tires? Maybe spice something up, take a set of mediums? Or, better yet, did someone forget to take the qualifying fuel off their car, their heat racing fuel, and they have to come down the pits and top it off?
Unfortunate for Tyler Zeigler. Had to take a tow as he ended up on his lid. Couple of cars. Oh,
Derek Love choosing to stay out along with Cullen Johnston. That means James Curtis now is going to restart back in the 3rd position, so long as he does not get past here into, through the pit lane.
Nick Simone did not go down pit road either, so he'll be starting P4. Going to have to make a lot of moves here on the restart.
I don't know if pitting was the right call with all those cars that decided to stay out in the racetrack.
He made passing Derek Love look fairly easy. And honestly, James Curtis is probably the fastest car, and Derek Love's the 2nd fastest car currently on track. So he might be able to make easy work of Nick Simone and Cullen Johnson. Let's go back and take a look at the replay of the Tyler Zeigler crash on board with him.
Just again, blindsided from that right side, and unfortunately very quickly ended up upside down.
Yep, unfortunate for him. I think Bill Walker most definitely had some tire damage or wheel damage after hitting that wall, and really the only thing he could do was just try and get down to the grass, and unfortunately that tire damage caused the steering not to be straight. Went down right into Tyler there. Status McMurray getting the lucky dog and now coming down pit lane. He is back on the lead lap. Mackenzie Galida 3 laps down, and Tyler Zeigler has not come out of the pits yet. He is being scored 4 laps down. Should be coming to 1 to go here as we cross the finish line. And crossing for the halfway point of the race. A very quick race indeed.
Yep, one rule we have always maintained in the Dallara X-Treme series is the race has to be over in time for Silver Crown's drivers, who make up a good proportion of this field, to be able to make that Silver Crown official race here tonight, which will be shown here on the National Racing Network.
Another huge factor here, lap cars go to the inside, lead lap cars go to the outside. Mackenzie Galida all the inside here might make it even more of a struggle for James Curtis to get back up to the front.
Derek Love with another huge restart, almost half a second this time over Cullen Johnson. Tyler Zeigler leaving the pits as the field comes by. Looks like that is going to be Elijah Travis now in the wall.
Yep, big wreck up and over to him. Let's take a look at that replay. Oh, looked like terrible netcode.
I don't know. I'm going to need to see an onboard of that. Looks like he just ramped up the rear Mackenzie's rear tires.
Oh, absolutely. I can give you a onboard replay of that. Oh, yeah, it did. I think that was Tyler Zeigler coming out of the pits. Wrong place, wrong time.
I am not sure why the officials opened the pits right then and there. I would have thought it would have made more sense just leave the pits closed till the entire field went by and then let the car leave the pits.
Yeah, not sure. But one thing this does make interesting... What? Oh! Someone came by and hit James Curtis.
I'm going to need to see a replay of that before I call that one a watch.
What happened? I think someone came by. Who was?
That was Tyler Zeigler.
That was Tyler Zeigler just came through and hit our second place standings and points. Let's go back and take a look at that one more time as James Curtis comes down pit lane. That was crazy. One of the weirdest incidents I've seen. Yeah, Tyler Zeigler coming through.
Bouncing off the wall under the caution. I mean, I'm all for getting your laps back, but trying to run that quickly around here with how little room there is, I don't know if that was a safe maneuver.
Yeah, that was... Maybe he called coming high and just James Curtis didn't hear him, but yeah, that is going to have huge points implications as Derek Love is currently in the lead. And James Curtis all the way back in the 8th position, and he's going to have 15-ish laps to try and get back up to Derek Love. Couple of outliers coming down pit road. We had TJ McMurray take the medium tires and Bill J. Walker go on to the soft tires. Very bold strategy. Alright, pace car off, and Derek Love, huge jump, 3 wide. Oh, I think we managed to get through there.
Seems to have made it out alive, maybe a little bit of wall contact there, but that is going to move James Watson up to the 3rd position. James Curtis now making big moves trying to come back up through the field. He is already back up to the 6th position. He is driving with an angry, fiery passion on him.
Yep, side by side with Nick Simone. He's going to get back there up to P5.
He is driving with a vengeance, and he's not going to let anything go until he gets right back up to Derek Love's gearbox. He is hungry. He wants this win. He knows he is the fastest car on this racetrack.
Oh, absolutely, but he's got to get past RJ Hedke first, and laps are ticking off fast, nearly coming up to 10 to go here, and he's still not by Hedke. Here we go, now side by side with Hedke, going to be not able to complete it.
Hedke really keeping the pressure on James Curtis. I'm sure Curtis is sitting there screaming inside his helmet, move out of the way, and trying to get him to move over, but I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, they're both on the same lap. RJ has every right to fight Curtis this hard. Curtis finally looks like he's able to make the move around RJ Hedke. Still not yet. I don't even think he's clear yet. They're still side by side. What is this, for the 10th lap?
That high line.
Oh, gets a little bit loose coming off turn 4. Still side by side around here.
And with all of this, Derek Love has pulled away to a 1-second lead as we have 6 laps to go now. Oh, and a car into the wall.
that looks like Tyler Zeigler again.
Yep, Tyler Zeigler and a caution flag. We do have one chance at a green-white checkered here in the Dallara X-Treme series, and it looks like we're going to get it. Take a look at that replay here. Ooh, that's not what you want to be right there. You don't want to see that. James Curtis into P3. I think he may have gotten around James Watson there when the caution came out. So that's a big move. And now let's see who comes down pit road to try and put on soft tires and have a huge advantage for this green-white checkered. No one elected to come down pit road. Very interesting indeed.
There's not going to be a lot of time once we go back into the green. It might be a 1 or 2 lap shootout.
Yeah, James Curtis, he took about 4 or 5 laps to set up that pass on Derek Love. He'll be, honestly, he might be lucky if he can get past Colin Johnston here.
After the near heartbreak he had earlier in this race, I don't think a second place finish would be a bad finish at all for him, even a third place finish here at this point, as we're approaching lap number 43 around the Speedway. And it does look like the lights are out on the pace car.
So yeah, we will have I guess this won't count as an attempt at a green-white checkered, so if there's a caution on this restart, it will not finish under caution. We will have a green-white checkered, but just a normal 2-lap shootout here for the win.
Nope, one more lap. My apologies. It looked like lights went out, but I guess they were still on.
Actually, no. So, yeah, since they stayed on, this will be the attempt at a green-white checkered. So, the next flag will end the race. However, once the white flag flies, there is not a caution is not able to be thrown. So, I don't know. We may see someone get dumped here.
Now, bump and runs here are acceptable in stock cars, but in these open-wheel cars, they usually end up in death. Pace car is off. So is Derek Love. He's going to get a huge gap. So is Colin Johnson on James Curtis. He's going to have a lot of work to do here on these final 2 laps of the race. Curtis goes way high, really looking for any kind of grip, any kind of speed he can get. He is right up to Colin Johnson's gearbox. Colin Johnson able to pull away. White flag is out. Derek Love still easily in the lead.
Yep.
James Watson on James Curtis's gearbox. However, at a turn 4, it's going to be Derek Love, followed by Colin Johnson. James Curtis in the wall. James Watson is going to get the 3rd position.
I think James Curtis is going to end up getting a 4th place finish here. I think he hit the wall coming out of turn 4 for the checkered flag, and I think James Watson passed him. Let's take a replay of that.
Yep, does look like he just bounced off the wall. He also did get into James Watson. However, Watson was able to cross that finish line.
So Derek Love will get the win after a series of very, very fortunate events go his way. What a race. Let's see if we can start getting some guys into the booth here. Let's pull in our 3rd place finisher, James Watson.
James, what an absolute finish. Oh, he's back. James. James, you got us?
James? James?
All right, there we go.
There we go.
Okay, we've got James. James, what was going through your head as Curtis started wrecking out of turn 4?
A lot of things I can't repeat.
Ah, well, that's fair. But did you at all, coming into this race, expect to come out of it with a P3?
I was hoping, I knew we needed a good result. I was hoping that we'd be able to bring something good home. And second, third, and fourth, that's a pretty good team result.
There you go. Now, I do have to ask you, what is with the Super Mario Brothers paint scheme on that car?
Well, it's Throwback, right? What's a better throwback than going back to arguably one of the greatest video games of all time?
That is a very, very fair point. I did not see a lot of other throwback paint schemes in the field, so you might, by default, have the best throwback race paint scheme on the car.
Woo!
Well, anyone you would like to thank for tonight?
Yeah, I gotta thank ZAS Designs for doing all my paint schemes. Gotta thank Chris Graham and everyone over at NRN for helping me out. Gotta thank MTWR Landscaping and Gary DeMoss.
Well, thanks for coming out tonight, James. It was a pleasure having you. It was a pleasure watching you get that finish right coming out of turn 4. You have an excellent night. Hopefully we see you in Silver Crowns later tonight.
Oh, you know it.
All right, and it's time to pull in our second place finisher, Cullen Johnson. Cullen, it was a fight between Curtis and Derek Love all night for that second place position. What made you get up there and come out and able to secure that second place at the end of the race?
It was all about being able to just not have the pit there when everyone else ran down, and then holding everyone off as they came back.
Yeah, we saw that. You're one of a handful of cars that decided, I'm going to stay out on the racetrack. I don't need fresh tires on this car. I know how to drive it without them. And obviously, you did a fantastic job of that. You were holding off Curtis. You were holding off Watson. You were holding off everyone in between, trying to chase you down, and still you stayed in front of them. How did you do it?
I felt like I had actually a fairly decent long run car. We just didn't get too many long runs. And the warm up prior, I actually had the second fastest time to Curtis. So it was just more just trying to get heat in the tires and keeping the tires late.
Well, that's fantastic. Is there anyone you want to thank tonight for this race?
Yeah, I want to thank TWR, James, for everything he does with that team, NRN, and all the rest of the sponsors over there at TWR.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Hopefully we see you around again. That was fantastic to watch. And will you be running the Silver Crowns later tonight?
Unfortunately, no, I won't. But
oh, man.
See you guys next week for this.
Yep. You have a good one, sir. Thank you very much. And last but not least, we are going to pull in Derek Love, the absolute dominator in this race tonight. Every restart was just able to pull away with it, grab a half-second gap. First off, Derek, I want to ask you, just how do you do that, pull off such huge gaps off those restarts?
Part of the practice is practicing those. At the end of a long run, a lot of times you'll just exit in, but it's a good chance to take a couple pace laps and then just practice a restart just to make sure how it's going to react. So just part of the practice. I didn't get a chance too much earlier this week to really put together anything, so I built the whole setup today, and I knew what it could do long run. That's the plan I stuck to.
Now, what would you say was your race-winning move of tonight? What really helped you secure that P1 and end up getting the checkered flag?
Strategy for sure. Staying out. I knew passing was going to be difficult, and I knew from practice that I had 30 plus laps in tires and still maintaining a good pace. So I knew just track position was going to be key.
Well, is there anyone you would like to thank for the race tonight?
We got to shoot out the Streetside Classics machine and myself, the DLR team, and you guys for hosting the event. Thank you much.
Thank you. Will you be in the Silver Crowns race tonight? I've been asking everyone.
Yes, I am. I have not done any practice, so we'll see how this goes.
Oh, well, good luck. Hopefully we see you towards the front of the field.
Yeah, we're hoping so. Thank you much.
Thanks for coming around. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, Connor, what are your final thoughts on the race tonight?
Absolute heartbreak for James Curtis. I definitely think he had the winning car, he just couldn't get any breaks to go his way. First, he got really unlucky on the cars coming down pit lane and cars staying out. It was really unfortunate for him that he got put all the way back there, and that's really what ultimately caused that incident with Tyler, is him deciding to come down pit road. I really think if he would have stayed out there, he would have had track position. He definitely had a faster car than Derek Love. He would have just been able to cruise to a victory there, but unfortunately him pitting and getting put in that terrible situation is really what gave Derek Love the win and James Watson a podium there. I think it's really going to shake up the point standings. Coming into the race, he was only 9 points back, but since he wasn't able to get really any bonus points for leading the most laps or having a zero incident race, I think it's really going to be hard for him now to try and claw back that deficit, because he's probably going to go, I don't know, maybe 25 points behind Derek Love.
Yeah, staying out under that intermediate caution, that was definitely the key move of winning this race. That was definitely the optimal strategy. Although sometimes you have to take those risks. Got to come down pit lane, grab some tires, and see what you can do with them. He made his way through most of the field, just couldn't get past Cullen or Derek. Well, on that note, we're going to have to end this show for you guys tonight. Thanks for sticking around and watching with us. It's a pleasure having you. From Patrick Byrne, Connor Baldwin, everyone here at the National Racing Network, you have a fantastic night.